Okay, class, in order to complete this assignment, you need to have out your practice 6-3 worksheet, as well as a pencil and a calculator. All of you should have calculators with you. If you do not, you know where the calculators are located at the front of the room, over by the computer, by the smartboard. Feel free to get a calculator if you need to. Pencils are up here as well, although hopefully you have all those things and that we're ready to go. Okay, I want to call your attention to the formula that we'll be using for every single one of these problems that we do. It is our percent over 100 equals is over of. It's also part of the whole. We are very familiar with this and have done a lot with this particular skill. So even though some of these word problems are going to get a little wordy, this is not a topic or something that you have not seen before. So let's take a look at this and see what we can do. I'm not crazy about the first two because I don't think they have enough room to show the work you need to show, but we'll deal with that. Okay, so the question is 700% of 5? That's all we need right now. From there, we can follow this formula. So 700%, if I set up over here, I'm going to have to write small because I don't have a whole lot of room. I always know that the 100 goes on the bottom. That's never going to change. Where will the 700% go? Yeah, it'll go on top of the 100. And we do not need to stop or pause the recording unless I ask you to. So we're good to go here. All right, how about of 5? When we see the words of 5, where's the of going to go? The of is here, it's on the bottom. So the of will go on the bottom. What will we put on top of the 5? Yeah, that's our variable, that's our x. I'm going to use x, you can use whatever you want. And then we can go ahead and complete this problem. We always do 100 times x gives us 100x. Bring my equal sign down. 700 times 5, if you do that in your calculator, what will you get? You should get 3,500. Then what do I need to do next? What's my next step? I have to divide both sides by 100. There we go. When I divide both sides by 100, what do I get as my final answer? I get 35. So let's go back to the original question. Because the original question asks me, is this, which ends up being this answer here, is this less than 10, greater than 10 but less than 100, or greater than 100? Which one of those applies? Yeah, 35 is greater than 10, but less than 100. Great. Okay. Number 2, again, I'm going to set it up. Not crazy that I don't have enough room to really do this, but we'll be okay. We can make this work for 2 problems. I'm always going to put the 2 lines. I'm going to put the 100 on the bottom because I always know it goes there. And this is the information we have. Is 250% of 44. So where will the 250 go? On top of the 100. Very good. Where will the 44 go? Of 44 goes on the bottom. And then we have our x. Okay, so here we go. 100 times x is 100x equals 250 times 44. All right, go ahead in your calculator and multiply 250 times 44. Somebody tell me an answer when you get it. You should have gotten 11,000. 11 with 3 zeros. What's my next step? Yeah, my next step is to divide both sides by 100, and I can either divide or I can use that trick that I know we've talked about before, where the zeros actually cancel out, and then 110 divided by 1 is a lot easier to answer because x will just equal 110. All right, let's go back to the original question. Is this number 110 less than 100, greater than 100 but less than 150, or greater than 150? Yeah, it's greater than 100, but less than 150. Very good. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 is a little bit of a stinker because it doesn't follow what you would expect. It says a new health drink has 130% of the recommended daily allowance, or RDA, for a certain vitamin. The RDA for this vitamin is 30 milligrams. How many milligrams of the vitamin are in the drink? I'm going to set it up just like I always do. Now I know that the percent goes above 100. Do I have a percent? I do, the 130. Now we have to make the decision about where the 30 goes. Now I know right away you're looking at the is and you think that that's going to tell you that it goes on the top. It's not the way it works for this one. The 30 is actually going to go on the bottom because it's the whole. The RDA for this vitamin, it's 30 milligrams. We need to find how many milligrams of the vitamin are in the drink. So the 30 is actually going to go on the bottom as the whole, and the X will be the part. All right, so 100 times X is 100X equals 30 times 130. What do you get for that? I'll wait for somebody's answer. Should be 3,900. Divide both sides by 100, and again, you can use that old method that we've talked about before, crossing out the same number of zeros. And 39 divided by 1 is a lot easier to answer. It would just be 39. And that is the answer. All right, so let's take a look at number 4. Okay, number 4 says, on Saturday, Brianne drove 10 miles. On Sunday, she drove 70 miles. The number of miles Brianne drove on Sunday is what percent of the number of miles she drove on Saturday? So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. We'll write the 100 down here because it always goes there. All right, do I know the percent? No, I don't. It says what percent. So if they're asking me, then they don't know. That's my variable. Now, when we're looking at this, it says on Saturday, Brianne drove 10 miles. On Sunday, she drove 70 miles. Brianne drove on Sunday is what percent of the miles she drove on Saturday. So they're telling you that the information for Sunday needs to come first, and the information for Saturday will come second. Well, here's the information for Sunday, and here's the information for Saturday. All right, go ahead and complete this problem. I want you to pause the tape, or pause the recording just for a second, and when you put it back on, you'll get to see what the answer is, and you can check. I would really appreciate if the adult in the room would walk around and just make sure that we actually get an answer, and we're not just waiting for the answer to come up. All right, did you get this as an answer? Hopefully you did. We, of course, multiplied the 70 times 100 and got 7,000. Multiplied the x times the 10 and got 10x. Divided both sides by 10. And, of course, 7,000 divided by 10 is 700. And when I had to tack that percent on because that's what we were looking for. It said what percent? 700%. All right, let's try number 5. It says, suppose a bunny's second hop is 8% higher than her first hop. Is the statement below true or false? The bunny's second hop is 108% of her first hop. Is that true or false? If it's 8% higher than what she did on her first hop was 100%. If she did 8% higher, is it true that she's 108%? Yes, that's true. Let's take a look at number 6. This kind of goes along with that. Emma went on a shopping trip. She bought a pair of shoes and a sweater. Emma spent 2% more on the sweater than on the shoes. The cost of the sweater is what percent of the cost of the shoes? Well, same thing as with the buddy question. We know that she spent 2% more on the sweater, and she paid the full amount, 100%, for the shoes. So what is the percent we're going to get? 100% plus 2% equals 102%. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 7. Okay, number 7. When a bush was first planted in a garden, it was 10 centimeters tall. After 2 months, it was 400% as tall as when it was first planted. Use mental math to find how tall the bush was after the 2 months. We're actually, because we're in a good zone here, we're not going to use mental math. We're going to use the formula like we've been doing. Okay? So do I know what the percent is? We do, it's 400. When a bush was first planted in a garden, it was 10 centimeters tall. Where are we going to put the 10 centimeters? Yeah, I'm going to put it down here. Very good. Now, go ahead on your own. We're going to stop the recording for just a couple minutes so that everybody can finish off this problem. You need to show the work. If you do not know how to solve this type of problem at this point, you need to ask for help. The sub does have an answer key and can certainly come over and help you, but you have to know how to do this at this point, the exact way that we've been doing it. No difference. So go ahead and complete this, pause the recording, restart when everybody's ready. But at the same time, we can't really give longer than a minute or two, and that's pretty much how we do it every single time. This recording should not take the whole period. All right, number 8. The rabbit population in a certain area is 200% of last year's population. There are 1,100 rabbits this year. How many were there last year? Okay, so here we go. We're setting it up. 100, what's going to go on top? 200 because it's a percent. How about those 1,100 rabbits this year? Will 1,100 go on the top or the bottom? Yes, it will go on the top as being the part. Good. All right, go ahead and solve this one. All right, let's take a look at number 9. Your friend estimated that it would take 5 hours to finish an art project. It actually took him 16 hours to finish the project. The amount of time it took to finish the project was what percent of the expected time? What am I going to put for my percent? Yeah, it says what percent? We don't know. We don't know. All right, and then it says your friend estimated that it would take 5 hours to finish an art project, but it actually took him 16. How are we going to fill this in? What will go on the top and what will go on the bottom? The 16 hours will go on the top, and the 5 hours will go on the bottom. Go ahead and solve that one. Again, stop the recording, that's fine. In order to solve it, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we have to keep moving or we won't get through this. And it is very important that we get through this before the end of the period. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 10. It says in football, a touchdown is worth 6 points. During a football game, Team A scores 12 points. Team B scores 5 touchdowns. Team B scores what percent of the points Team A scores? So they want you to do Team B and Team A. Okay, so to figure this out, Team A, how many points do they get? They get 12. What about B? It doesn't tell us how many points, it tells us how many touchdowns. I know they got 5 touchdowns, but how many points is that? Well, each one's 6 points, so I have to do 5 times 6. I end up with 30. Now they're very clear. They tell us they want us to put Team B scores, then Team A scores. I don't know what the percent is, but I know I have to put Team B first, and then Team A. Okay. Go ahead and solve this. Take a second to pause the recording, but then if you're not ready, we have to keep moving. It'll be something you'll have to do for homework. We have to get through all of this report. All right, let's take a look at number 11. It says your friend sells you a bicycle for $63 and a helmet for $20. The total cost is 150% of what your friend spent originally. How much did your friend spend originally? So here we go. We're going to set this up. We'll put the 150 over 100. And then it wants to know what your friend spent originally. I have 2 numbers here. Well, she bought both of these things. So what do we have to do with the 63 and the 20? Yeah, we have to add them to find out how much she spent on it all. And now you're ready to go ahead and solve the problem. Go ahead and do 11A. All right, 11B says, how much money did your friend earn by selling his bicycle and helmet to you? Round to the nearest dollar. Okay, well here, we know how much your friend spent on the helmet and the bicycle. It was $83, or sold it to you for $83. Then we have to subtract your answer for what you got up there. So take a look at this one. You need to use the $83 and you need to subtract your answer from 11A to help you get your final answer. Okay, number 12 is the challenge question. You know that you always do the challenge questions on your own without any help. So even though the sub has the key, she cannot help you. You have to do number 12 on your own right now while you're in the room. I'm going to read it to you. That's one of the reasons why we have to finish the recording in the time allotted, because we have to have every single one read. So here it goes. Number 12. The owner of a small store buys coats for $50 each. She sells the coats for $90 each. What percent of the purchase price is the selling price? So it's asking you what percent. That's a good indication. Go ahead and set up your proportion. And complete the rest of this problem. Letter B asks, how many coats must the owner sell for the total coat sales to be $360? Go ahead and complete number 12 and go back through, please, and make sure you completed all the other problems. When you are finished, this page needs to get back into your math section of your binder. Calculators need to be put back where they go. Pencils need to be put away, all that good stuff.